fight Tom.
The winner should absolutely fight Tom. Who's got the next question?
Knock it off.
Question for Michael Chandler.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. We have to talk about UFC 309. Hey, everybody. The audio in this video isn't great. I probably shouldn't be disclosing that this early, but I want you to know that I know that it sucks, so you can know to expect better in the future. So if you think this sounds okay, which it's still not great, frankly, but I'm cheap. So if you can tolerate this, then stick around, drop a sub, click on another video, do something. The audio's better in all my other videos, so just see what you can do, and thanks for watching. Love you. And more specifically, we have to talk about what UFC 309 did to me as a person, because I don't think it just upset me. I don't think it just bothered me. I think it made me a worse person. I think it made me a more cynical person. I think it made me a more miserable person. I've been nothing short of a bad guy all week. My coworkers, my family, they've all gotten it. A little bit of it, you know. I'm spreading the wealth, but I'm a bad guy. So I've been nothing short of miserable. Let's go through it. I want to talk about my predictions first. Not that I remember most of them, nor do I care, frankly. But we're going to go through them. So I have first fight, Veronica Hardy. I picked her. She sucks. I'm just never going to pick any of the people that I picked ever again. Because I think if I flipped my picks around, I actually would have done quite a lot better. I hope I picked Obon Elliott. I don't know. He won via TKO in the third round. Good performance by him. Basel Hafez. He's strong and he hits hard, but that's all he has. Obon Elliott's probably just better, I guess, which is a statement you have to say in the year 2024. That's awesome. Mickey Gall, no surprise that he lost. I think I picked him, but no surprise that he lost. I picked Jonata Deniz. I also picked him against Derek Lewis when I thought that fight was happening. Pretty sure Derek Lewis would have taken his fucking brain out. Anyway. David Onama versus Roberto Romero. I picked David Onama because, I mean, look at the odds. We're getting close to the main card. You can tell because the odds are spreading. Jim Miller versus Damon Jackson. Damon Jackson retired. He retired. He literally... Is there an article? That's funny. He literally retired. Didn't he? I'm pretty sure he retired. Anyway, they don't care, and neither do I. Jim Miller, round 1 sub. I did say there was a chance he could catch him in a sub. I didn't see it happening, but it did happen. So at least I acknowledged it. That's the closest thing I have to a win yet, maybe. Jonathan Martinez versus Marcus McGee. Don't know who I picked. Think I picked maybe Marcus McGee. Probably picked Jonathan Martinez. He looks a little bit too like Mario Batista for me, but, you know, it is what it is. 2 negative odds fighters, by the way. The books are getting me. Mauricio Huffy versus James Yontop. I don't think I had this fight picked. I'm pretty sure this was supposed to be someone else. I can't remember. Can't remember who he was even supposed to be. But it was a catchweight bout. Mauricio Huffy looked pretty good. They both looked decent on short notice, but yeah. Anyway, Viviana Araujo versus Karine Silva. UD for I definitely picked Karine Silva. I can just tell based on... I don't even... Like, the fact that I don't remember is a testament to how long it's been since I've even thought about any of the fights other than the main event. Anyway, Bo Nickel versus Paul Craig. I picked Bo Nickel. Obviously, why wouldn't you? He's minus 1100. Paul Craig didn't make it easy on him, but I understand everybody wants him to be this, like, Terminator, because that's what Hamzat did, but he's not Hamzat, so cut him some slack, you know what I mean? Yeah. So Bo Nickel won. I thought he looked fine. I mean, no, he doesn't have any knockout power or any skill or, he didn't shoot a takedown. I think he was just trying to prove he could beat a vet on the feet in his 7th MMA fight. It's fine. Whatever. Good for him. Oliveira versus Chandler. I picked Oliveira. I thought Chandler actually, his best chance would be in the first round. Turned out it was in the 5th. Charles Oliveira, fun fact, for the first time in his career, went past the 3rd round, which is insane. His first 5-round UD, first 5-round anything. Oliveira did give us a scare in the 5th. After the fight, he tweeted something like, sorry, and it was definitely translated by Twitter or something. Sorry for scaring you in he said the 4th. So it was clear that whatever Michael Chandler did to him, he does have dynamite in his hands after all. I think after seeing that fight, Conor McGregor's in trouble because Charles Oliveira hits hard. He's a skilled striker. He's honestly really good. I think Michael Chandler was also prepared to be a lot bigger, be a lot heavier going into that fight with McGregor. I think he was prepared to fight at 170, and I think he would have looked actually fine for 170. He might have been a normal or even big 170-pounder. He's just ridiculously lean, probably on drugs. And so he went into this fight, and I thought he looked fine. I know he got his ass whipped for like 5 rounds. I get it at 4.5 rounds or whatever. The backpack thing at the end of the fight was cool. Good for them. Fucking Jon Jones. Anyway, yeah, no, I was impressed by both of these guys. More Oliveira because Chandler just got his ass kicked for a long time and then kind of just came out of it. But anyway, and then Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic. I obviously picked Jon Jones because there's a brain in here. You can't hear it, but there is probably. And so I picked Jon Jones. I think I picked him via decision or submission. So I didn't pick the one thing. Even my wins were ass. I picked Charles Oliveira, I think, by KO or sub. Won by decision. Picked Jon Jones by sub or decision. He almost got Stipe out of there in the first. We'll talk about that later. I want to talk about Jon Jones' cope. And then Dana growing a pair, potentially. Okay, Dana. Jon Jones, I mean, there's not a lot to say about the fight. Stipe looked 42, or whatever he is, 44, coming off a KO loss 4 years ago. I was in college 4 years ago, and as Stipe was getting knocked out, I was curious if I would be able to ever go back to school in person again, if that tells you anything. So, not a good look for Jon Jones. A 3rd round body, almost end of the 3rd round, so almost 4th round, body kick TKO on an old guy who just got absolutely dominated in his last fight and slept is just not a good look. So, yeah, Jon Jones won. Congratulations, you're a doc. Let's talk about it. Jon Jones is coping. First of all, he changed his name on Twitter. I don't know when. I just caught this not that long ago. To Johnny Meat. So, you've seen the videos. Man, what a great fight. Big thank you to Stipe. I can't wait to get full strength back in my arm. Almost had him out in 1. I'm reading the replies. He did almost have him out in 1. It had nothing to do with the strength in his left arm. At all. He just can't hit. He's never been strong. In general, first of all. I mean, he's been strong, but that's because of drugs, first of all. He's never been a power puncher. We're going to get to that also. He's never been the kind of guy that can do that. He had one finish via ground and pound against Shogun when he was 20 years younger, and whoa, big man, calm down. Anyway, so that's ridiculous cope. These guys both deserve likes. This guy definitely, I feel like he did this before Jones made it his profile picture, which he did, by the way. Let's just talk about that. I don't know. He cut it out, so maybe, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So Jones is coping. and he beats his wife. Next up, this is the same thing, okay. Being ranked number 2 pound per pound. You tried. You were this close. At 37 years old, I'm happy with that. Son. Okay. This guy's a cuck. Hold on. Excuse me. Anyway. Like I was saying. Yeah. He's never been happy with that. He is not happy with that. He's coping. And this is where it starts. It starts here, and it goes downhill. So let's just move through these quickly. Heavyweight finish rate, 100%. So this is at 3:13 p.m. on the 19th of November. So 2 days ago as I'm recording this. 3 hours later. Heavyweight finish rate, 100%. Okay? You fought a guy who didn't want to be there, and a guy who's a full-time firefighter that got knocked out in his last fight. Like, shut up. Heavyweight ducking rate, 100%. So is Tom's. Yeah. Tom, other than when he got hurt, actually I don't think he did finish every fight, but yeah, no. First of all, Tom's lost, but that's fine. Whatever. Doesn't matter, right? Because look at his last 10 fights. 5, safely. I can safely say 5. I don't have his record pulled up. I'm not a loser like that. I don't really care. New record, and this is at 5 p.m., so this is actually before the heavyweight finish rate, but it doesn't matter. Jon Jones became the first fighter in UFC history to successfully defend his title in 3 different title reigns. Why is that, John? If you've never lost. Okay, let's think about this. If Jon Jones has never, ever lost a fight in his life, how does he have 3 different title reigns? Okay, let's think about it. Okay. So he won it against Shogun. And then he, well, there's the whole thing where he technically lost twice. If you actually watch the fight with your eyes, to Gustafsson and to, his name escapes me. Same result as when somebody knees a grounded opponent, for example, Peter Yan, Aljamain Sterling. I think DC should have been credited a win, and Jon Jones should have been credited a loss because he did drugs. Performance-enhancing drugs that are against the rules in the UFC. But, okay, so he won against Shogun, has a bunch of title defenses, good for him, fought 80-year-old welterweights, fat welterweights, and then, well, how did he lose it if he didn't lose? Oh, he lost to DC. He didn't actually. It's a no contest, which we can see here. Okay, so he beats Shogun somewhere here, and then he beats Rampage, Lyoto Machida, old, Rashad Evans via decision. Okay, buddy. Vitor Belfort, who was no longer on drugs. Chael Sonnen, he would have lost that fight if it went 5 seconds longer. By the way, he ducked Chael Sonnen the first time they were scheduled to fight, because Chael stepped in on short notice, and he refused to fight him. Coming up a weight class on short notice. Then he lost to Gustafsson. I don't care what you say. Then he beat Glover, who, to be fair, Glover was the champion like a couple years ago. That's decently impressive. He beat DC. Probably on drugs. Via decision. Not a bad win, though. A good win. DC is an all-time great. Maybe one of the best combat sports athletes of all time. OSP. Beats him via decision. OSP's never been good. Never. He was never good. Then what's this? What? What's that? What's that doing? That's a no contest to Daniel Cormier, in which he did drugs to win the fight via KO. One of his only highlight KOs ever. And yeah, he didn't fight for, let's see, USADA announced today that an independent arbitrator has rendered a decision in the case of Jon Jones of Rochester, New York, and determined that Jones should receive a 15-month sanction for his second violation of the UFC anti-doping policy. This decision comes after the facts of the case were presented and fully argued in an evidentiary hearing on September 15, 2018. Jon Jones, 31, tested positive for a prohibited substance as a result of a sample collected during the in-competition testing period on July 28, 2017, before his bout at UFC 214 in Anaheim, California, an event sanctioned by the California Athletic Commission. Contained 4-chloro-18 or metabolite of that DHCMT, another chlorine-based substituted anabolic steroid. Chlorine-substituted anabolic steroids are non-specified substances in the class of anabolic agents and prohibited at all times under the UFC anti-doping policy, which has adopted the World Anti-Doping Policy, WADA, prohibited list. Prior to the hearing, they determined that the 30-month reduction in the otherwise applicable period of ineligibility was appropriate under the rules of Jones' delivery of substantial assistance. Okay. Evidence related to Jones' substantial assistance was presented at the hearing and considered by the arbitrator. So, it seems to me that because he was willing to piss in a cup, they just said, you stay out for less time. Anyway, whatever. The sanction was further reduced by the arbitrator based on Jones' reduced degree of fault and the circumstances of the case. He said he got a bad dick pill at a gas station, which is not true. Okay, that's the moral of the story. He was suspended for 15 months. He was stripped of the title. He beats his wife. I mean, there's nothing more to say. He's gay. And, this is not a highlight thing, right? Like, losing your title a bunch of times isn't something you should be proud of, right? Like, if you won in 3 different weight classes and then had a title defense in every one of those weight classes, like if Conor McGregor had ever had a title defense, for example, that would be cool, right? But that's not the case, and Jon Jones never won anything in dominating fashion where he wasn't 20 years younger, or at least 10, close to 10 anyway, and or on drugs. So, this means nothing, because he came back, beat Gustafsson while he was on drugs after a 15-month layoff where he, figured out how to take a cycle. And then he barely beat Anthony Smith. And by barely, I mean he just couldn't finish him, which everybody should do to Anthony Smith, particularly if you're supposed to be the greatest of all time, and he's a fat welterweight. And then put on a not great performance against Thiago Santos, and then literally lost to Dominic Reyes before taking how many years off while Francis Ngannou was running the heavyweight division, and then came back fat, weighing 248, fat. He just came back fat as a heavyweight because he got to fight the Frenchman who didn't want to be there, and Cyril Gane, and then he fights 44-year-old Stipe coming off a 4-year layoff, which followed a KO loss to the guy that Jones refused to fight. He's big talk at the PFL events, but he won't fight him. I think I may have started a new trend, the Donald Trump dance, which is just ridiculous and absurd, because Donald Trump started it. This is funny. This is the only reason I have this one up. Hello, John. When will you fight me? It's Tom Aspinall as a woman, because Jon Jones beats women. If you started the trend, it wouldn't be called the Trump dance. Yeah. Anyway, he really didn't. No cap. That doesn't even deserve capital letters. I'm going to have to close this tab before I start going crazy. This one was funny. Because he tried to hop on a trend that isn't funny to begin with. Like, it's just unbelievable amounts of cope. Everybody calling me a duck, but I'm just a hashtag chill guy. Okay, what are you, 75? Fuck off. And then, yeah, when Jon Jones calls you an asshole, but really you're just a chill guy. This was funnier, because Jones posted his at 6:14, p.m. on November 19th. And then at 5:12 today, Hanato Moicano, or his podcast or whatever, whether he runs it or not, I think he does, but, or at least for the most part, he basically just shit on him by copying it. So that was funny. This is Tom Aspinall, obviously. Yeah, so that's that. I want to talk about Dana White growing a pair. I don't need to do this. I'll just put the face cam back on. So basically, Dana White said, he said, if Jon Jones wants to fight again, he'll fight Tom Aspinall, which is good news for anybody who gives a shit about the sport of MMA, and really, really bad news for anybody named Jon Jones. And so Jon Jones then went on to say that he would need fuck you money to take that fight. So, I mean, we could just have the fight in Saudi Arabia. We could have the fight in Wembley, sponsored by, Riyadh season at Wembley. Why not, right? There's endless possibilities. I think the reality, though, is that Jon Jones will either wait around so long that Tom Aspinall inevitably loses because God is cruel, or Alex Pereira loses because God is cruel, and then gets a fight with Pereira instead because, well, they're both coming off a loss, and why not? Because Jones is actually going to be closer in weight to Alex Pereira naturally than he is to Tom Aspinall, because Tom Aspinall is like, 260, and Jon Jones is like 240 or 235, and, well, let's be honest, Alex Pereira is really close to 225 or 230, so, I mean, they're right next to each other. I know what's going to happen. Jon Jones is never going to fight Tom Aspinall. It's going to take 7 months for them to even admit it. And we're all going to be patiently waiting without a heavyweight champion for the next half a year or more. I would imagine by June we'll hear something. And I wouldn't think we hear anything before. At all. I really don't. I don't think it's happening. And I don't know what to say. I think this event really broke me. I didn't do a recap, a traditional recap of my picks for the first time in I don't know how long. Maybe the whole history of this channel, which is not very long, but for the first time I didn't do a recap of my picks because I just couldn't do it. I needed to see how some of this stuff played out with Jones and Aspinall and Dana, and it's going how I expected. So I decided I'd just bite the bullet. And maybe bite the bullet. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. I'll be back. I probably am not doing a Jan versus Figueiredo pick because I just can't take the pounding, no Jones, that it's going to give me by being wrong on every pick. So, without further ado, that's it for today. Love you all. Thanks for watching. Peace.